die. Welcome to Speaker's Corner. I am your host, Timothy Byron. Call me Tim, call me Tim. Today's topic, dear gentlemen and ladies, is, well, a rather hodgepodge of a mishmash of a melange of nothing at all, really. Well, this isn't Seinfeld, a show about nothing, but rather today's episode does not have a coherent narrative or lesson. It's simply what I want to do. And I hope you will enjoy the ride on which I take you. A good break and hearty laughter. We all need that every now and again, do we not? That most British of beverages, tea. Although it did not clearly originate here in my homeland. It is at this point fairly synonymous with old Blighty. What proper Brit does not partake in her or his cuppa to get the day going or keep it going? That sumptuous aroma, that waft of sweetness, alluring and enchanting. Refreshing. And that reminds me of a story. A lady once said to someone, "If I were your wife, I would poison your tea." "Madam, if I were your husband, I'd drink it." Recognize that exchange, and that male one in particular? Always a good laugh, that one. But we don't actually know if that murderous dialogue between Lady Nancy Astor and Sir Winston Churchill even occurred. The origins of that interplay between a man and a woman has origins going back to 1899 and came from two nondescript Yanks from Oswego, New York, of all places. Not Britain's most famous Prime Minister and the first female MP, Lady Nancy Astor. Interestingly enough, both Lady Astor and Sir Winston had American roots of their own. The MP was actually born in the US, and the PM's mother was American, born in New York at that. Curious, no? I thought so. The original story stems from a clipping from a November 1899 Oswego newspaper, from which an account by, quote, the listener, unquote, tells the tale. Essentially, a woman was boarding the subway, and one of her fellow passengers was an uncouth man smoking a cigar. She smelt onions on his person, and there was an ostensible preponderance of beer in his manner and behaviour. She fidgeted, squirmed, temporising, and stared daggers passive-aggressively into the man minding his own business, when suddenly she looked at him and stated, "If you were my husband, sir, I'd give you a dose of poison." To which, and to wit, the man replied, "If I were he, I'd take it." This tale became all the rage and ended up reprinted in other newspapers over time with minor alterations, and even made it across the Atlantic. The first instance of Sir Winston stating this famous line occurred in 1949, but it was to an anonymous woman, which appeared in the New York Times. Start spreading fake news. Excuse me. It may or may not be fake news, but the story specifically with Lady Astor appeared in a 1952 book called The Glitter and the Gold. It would certainly be in the realm of possibility that Sir Winston may have produced such witty rejoinders as he was prone to do through his long and storied life. Another famous example of Sir Winston's wit may not have been his at all. The story goes that Sir Winston was writing a letter and he received a note from an editor about editing his sentences with a proposition, to which the PM retorted, This is the sort of English up with which I will not put. One can only hope that that story is true, but there is no direct attribution to Sir Winston or any such documentation as far as we currently know. One would assume that if he had come up with such a response, there would be some evidence of it, clever as it is. Oh, pish-posh, keep on listening. You will surely enjoy the quick-fire round of Guess Who at the end of the video. I promise you that. One of Sir Winston's most famous quotes is, "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." Yes, that toil is often one word that people miss when quoting that famous line. I suppose most people feel that blood, tears, and sweat sufficed, but not Sir Winston. That famous speech came only 3 days after his ascension to the role of Prime Minister, when he stated it to his cabinet, and then later to the House of Commons for the vote of confidence. The Labour Party warmly received these words, but the Conservative side was not as fond, because they still pined for Neville Chamberlain. Funny how history works, no? It seemed like hope, at least, was starting to take hold in Britain, but Sir Winston admitted to General Ismay, poor people, they trust me, and I can give them nothing but disaster for quite a long time." Sir Winston is obviously not the only one who can inspire. "An understanding of the natural world and what's in it is a source of not only a great curiosity, but great fulfillment." Ha ha! A good voice if ever there was one, but do we know whose? Indeed, it is our own national treasure, my precious Sir David Attenborough. England's preeminent naturalist and documentarian is a font of inspiration, especially in his affinity for Mother Nature and all her beauty. "It seems to me that the natural world is the greatest source of excitement, the greatest source of visual beauty, the greatest source of intellectual interest. It is the greatest source of so much in life that makes life worth living." It is a true marvel, and one of our most valuable sources of inspiration and longing to learn, one to appreciate greatly. Another man commonly associated with animals, well, bats at the very least, is, "I got an Irish shot for biting the head of a bat, but that's okay. The bat had to get Aussie shots." Oh, blimey, that can only be one man, but which one? Oh, shoo. That's right. It's Aussie. Although, wait, what? Why would the bat need rabies shots if he bit the ruddy head off it? Oh, Aussie, you are a brilliant and bizarre man with, well, quite the history. My range is not only British, you know. So, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. I apologize, my Bostonian friends. It should be obvious, yes, but that's John Fitzgerald Kennedy. That was a part of Kennedy's inaugural speech in 1961 that he co-wrote with trusted advisor Ted Sorensen. That's not the only American president with a questionable past with women, although that one had his charm. "You know who's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everyone? And I helped create her. Ivanka. My daughter, Ivanka. She's 6 feet tall. She got the best body, beautiful. She made a lot of money as a model, tremendous amount." Ugh. Ugh. As if you needed time to figure out that contemptible monster. And that quote requires no explanation, and frankly, I'd rather not go there. From one corrupt, disgusting pig to another, let's move to another previous British colony. "I did not use the public's money in Nikandla. What I am saying is I'm not guilty. Even if they look for me under a tree, they cannot find me. I did nothing wrong. I did not do anything. They go around and say this fella used public money. I am not guilty. There is no case against me. You know that voice? Oh, bother. Former South African President Jacob Zuma. Your pleas sound awfully familiar to the previous person I quoted. Here's another one that has similar hints. People today think being single is nice. It's actually not right. There's a distortion. You've got to have kids. Kids are important to a woman because they give extra training to a woman to be a mother. One can easily imagine switching voices, and it would be perfectly in line with the former American president's character, or lack thereof. Matter of fact, people today think being single is nice. It's actually not right. There's a distortion. You've got to have kids. Kids are important to a woman because they give extra training to a woman to be a mother. Anyway, I was the best, most perfect president ever. Everything that went wrong was that. What was his face? You know, that, the black, well, isn't that absolutely brilliant? Donald, not everything is my fault. Let it go. There is only one thing that we can be sure of, and that is the love that we have for our children, for our families, for each other. The warmth of a small child's embrace, that is true. Guess who? Indeed it is President Obama, and it was during the heartbreaking vigil for the Sandy Hook massacre that he uttered words that did not treat children as a pastime or training for women. Fancy that. We are used like toilet paper that is flushed in the toilet. We are used like condoms. Those who use condoms will know how condoms work. They use them and they throw them somewhere else. Familiar with that one? Julius Malema, once Jacob Zuma's lapdog, turned against him. Funny how the world works, eh? From a man who was written recently a successful long book in what will be a series of long books, here is a relevant line. You want weapons? We're in a library. Books are the best weapon in the world. This room's the greatest arsenal we could have. Arm yourself. That seemed familiar, does it? Do you know who that was? That's right. It's David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. As a proud Brit, I can't tell you how many times I hid behind the couch from those nasty salt and pepper shakers, or wanted to paint a phone booth royal blue to have my own TARDIS. Although it actually sounds a little bit more like this. I'm still a geek. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I see no shame in having an unhealthy obsession with something. Look at you. You want more, do you? Well, how about this one? Is not this simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel. You know that voice. Hello, darlings, it is I, Tom Hiddleston, as Loki from all those 40,000 Marvel films. Ta-ta, dears. How about a quick-fire round? Ready, set, go. Ping pong was invented on the dining tables of England in the 19th century, and it was called whiff-waff. And there, I think you have the difference between us and the rest of the world. Other nations, the French, looked at the dining table and saw an opportunity to have dinner. We looked at it and saw an opportunity to play whiff-waff. Now, whoever could that be? But of course, who else could it be? Oh, God. I have been called a great many things in my time. That's politics. Haven't guessed who? Usually has his nose up, this one's posterior. Yes. Well done. Nigel Farage. Incidentally, after being called a certain name and fined for assaulting someone. Always civilized, Mr. Farage. Now begone with you. How about something more pleasant? Or rather, someone more pleasant. I tend to discourage people from calling me Sir Ian, because I don't like being separated out from the rest of the population. No? No? Come on, I give you a big hint. Oh, come on now, it's an easy one. Yes. Now, it would be remiss of me not to even attempt this one. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong. Come now, I know I don't do the best impression of this one, but this must be so easy. God save Her Majesty, indeed. Am I right in saying that the phrase pimp my ride means modify my car? Yes, British comedian and author David Mitchell. Now, how about something a little different? So, if you want to dial in and direct, listen or record, or see the session, you'd be most welcome. Just be sure to let me know, so I can be sure to wear some pants. Andy B, better known as Almighty Answers. Yes, he borrowed his voice from God and changed the accent. Be sure to check Almighty Answers and subscribe, eh? Very good stuff, very good stuff. And last but not least, to finish it on a high note, 1, 2, 3. This is Major Tim to ground control. Go a little bit out of your depth. And when you don't feel like your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting. You guessed who? Quite, Mr. Bowie. And that rhymes with Zoe, Yanks, not Bowie. What about me? That's all, my dears. I hope this was fun and informative. I certainly enjoyed doing it. Maybe not informative, but well, I hope you got some pleasure. I can do plenty of other voices. If you have any particular requests, then please do always drop us a comment. I love to read them. You should be commenting anyways. I read every single one, and I do love to respond and react. So let me know if there are any other topics that you would like for me to cover or anything else on your mind. Continue, as always, to like, to comment, subscribe, just like that. Oh, it gives me such a smile. We do try to bring some fun, so please join our family. We would love to have you. Ta-ta. Much love. Cheerio, pip-pip, and here's looking at you, kid. You have no idea what lovely surprises I have in store for you for this week. Do you want to know? Well, chime that bell. And cheerio! Mwah. Hello again, my lovelies. Thank you so much for watching that video. It really means a lot. Well, what can I say? Keep the smile going. Do remember to subscribe, ring that bell. It helps out like you wouldn't believe. It just makes me so happy. You can see this big smile of mine. Keep calm, carry on, keep a stiff upper lip. And if you like, there are some other channels in the description. I apologise for their content, but I think they're worth a watch, probably. If anything, just to educate yourself. Best of the British to you. Pip pip, cheerio. And don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, this was Speaker's Corner. Ta-ra.